buckle up, because it's going to be a long ride. It's going to be a wild ride. Nobody cares, but we're going to tell you anyways. This is Popcorn Chats.
Also, I re-downloaded The Sims yesterday. Iconic. And you know what I'm doing? I'm making an ABC family where I made the first parents, they both have A names, and I'm gonna make them have as many children and I'm gonna try to get all the way down to Z. Like as many children with the A name, and then pick the youngest daughter of that one, start playing on her, make her have B named children.
Oh.
Youngest of the B children. So I'm gonna see how many children I can make them. So 26 generations.
That's insane.
I'm going to see if I can do it. That is a project. It is not an overnight game.
Congrats. That's exciting.
Thank you.
Very cool.
So that's my exciting news for the day. I'm looking forward. Yeah.
Sounds like you're having a great break from work.
I've actually been getting a lot done. It's been nice.
I take that back. You are clearly
I love having time off of work. It's what I needed, honestly.
Yes. So. What's up, everybody? Welcome back to Popcorn Chats. I'm Katie.
And I'm McKay.
And this week we are coming off of the holidays and we are going to be talking about the new star-studded film Don't Look Up, directed by Adam McKay, starring Leonardo DiCaprio, Jennifer Lawrence, Meryl Streep, Jonah Hill, Ariana Grande, Timothy Chalamet. The list goes on. So,
we could get into this, but did you get really excited when you saw that Timmy and Jennifer were gonna kiss?
I was not expecting that, and I was here for it.
Me too.
We can get into that. Honestly, I kind of felt like Timmy's overall involvement didn't land. Like his character. I loved the scenes between him and Jennifer Lawrence, but I didn't think his character was super necessary. He kind of just felt like another star thrown in just to have another star in there. Yeah. Like his character didn't really serve a purpose except for showing like the younger generation's reaction to the world's coming to an end. So But we can get into that more. Obviously, I loved. Can you shut the fuck up, garbage truck? We are recording.
They come at the worst time. They always come when I'm filming. I don't know how many times in a video it's just like you hear that when they're coming in and I have to pause.
Quiet on the goddamn
set. So annoying. Garbage rat.
While this motherfucker is just doing his thing.
Should we do a check-in?
Yeah.
Alrighty.
How are you? How was your Christmas?
My Christmas was good. It was different than how it was looking like it was going to be because my sister-in-law does have COVID. She's doing good. Like she's feeling good and everything. I don't think she has her sense of smell or taste back yet, but at least she's feeling good symptom-wise. So that was a bit of a bummer that they weren't able to come. So it was just me and my parents, but that was still really nice. We still made it a good Christmas. We had so much good food, which is honestly the highlight of it all was we just had a lot of really yummy food. Yeah, it was nice to give my parents, the gifts that I had got them and then also get my gifts. I got some nice stuff and I got some presents for the kiddies too. It was just a good Christmas. It was nice. So good. How about yours?
It was good. Yeah. It was a good Christmas. I don't know. The holidays are just kind of weird, you know? Mm-hmm. And this year they just felt weird. There was no snow on the ground. It didn't really feel like Christmas, but whatever. Yeah. It's the same old thing every year. Being in your 20s is fucking weird.
Yeah.
Giving me anxiety because I'm going to be editing this and feeling like a piece of garbage in the truck. Overall, I had a good Christmas. Hope y'all did too, or whatever holiday you celebrate, or if you don't celebrate any holiday, or if you had a bad Christmas. Lilas. Yeah, so we are talking about Don't Look Up. Now, Adam McKay, if you are unaware, is...
my alter ego.
McKay, yeah. No, but the director of this film, Adam McKay, has directed a lot of funny stuff in the past, like Step Brothers and Anchorman, lots of stuff with Will Ferrell. And then recently he's been getting a little bit more serious with things like Vice and The Big Sick. And this film is a satire, obviously, meant to be satirical.
Mm-hmm.
However, we could get into maybe how it comes off as not so satirical and a little bit closer to home. It was concepted before the COVID-19 pandemic.
Which is interesting. I'm like, you were
Yeah.
You were really peering into the future with this.
Well, I think it's very obvious that this is about the climate crisis, and that's what it was originally supposed to kind of be making commentary on. But then the fact that the COVID-19 pandemic happened, it's not as heavy-handed as I think other content being made about the pandemic or that's being made to make commentary about the pandemic has been. However, after living through what we've lived through the past couple years now, it is just kind of like, yeah, okay, I get that there's a problem. What are we gonna do about it? It's just like depressing, you know? And Hollywood so often is on this pedestal yelling at the rest of us that we're all fucking doomed and we're all gonna die and the human race sucks. And it's like, okay, yeah, and what? And like all these people are very, like Jennifer Lawrence and Leo DiCaprio are very vocal about their beliefs politically and the causes that they believe in and stuff. And I would say that they both do a lot for those causes and actually kind of like walk the walk instead of just talking the talk. You know, people kind of say now that like since the Trump administration, like satire doesn't land because like you can make fun of it's reality and people are actually like people in Africa are going through a horrible drought right now. They're responsible for like 2% of global emissions, but they're facing a drought right now. So like satire is like making fun of real stuff. Like SNL makes fun of presidents and people in office, but then when it's like too close to home, it's like it's not really that funny.
I still found this funny.
I did too.
I think it's like we're literally doomed, and I think that's just something like, especially Timothée Chalamet's character in this, like that's just something that we've come to expect and what we've grown up with. So I think when you see like the younger generation just kind of being like, yeah, it is what it is, and like the older people starting to like kind of freak out about it a little more, because it's like they haven't been born into that reality. Like they've always thought like everything's just gonna be okay, where we were born into the world is literally going to end. Right. Like I feel like this would be if there was a comet announced tomorrow that was shooting towards Earth that was going to obliterate us in 6 months. I feel like this would play out exactly the same, which I like. I think then that lands well because it isn't necessarily like funny. Parts are, but I also don't think it's not funny.
The way you and I are coming at it, it's like if you can't laugh,
you're gonna cry.
I think a lot of our generation is going to receive this movie that way, but I'm just speaking broadly, like critically. People say a lot that like satire as a form of comedy is dead since the Trump administration. That's not like my personal belief, but I'm just saying that's how critics are talking about this movie, and it's kind of like in the discourse.
I haven't looked up any reviews except for this one guy on TikTok that I watched, just because I don't like to like have any of that in my head before I speak out my thoughts on it, and then I like to go back and then see like what other, especially with something like this. I think when we watched Antebellum, that was different. Like we looked up reviews because we're like, we aren't coming from like a lens where we like can really understand this. But for this, I was like, I don't care. I just want to. I'll look up reviews later and see how it goes. But I don't think satire is necessarily dead.
No, I don't think it is either. I think especially with our generation, it's like
it's how we cope. It's like a coping mechanism.
It's only getting amped up. Like TikTok is all satire. It's all us laughing at how fucked up everything is. And I think the reason why critics are being so cynical about satire, which like shut the fuck up. You don't need to be cynical about satire. Like critics hate being talked down to by Hollywood, and Hollywood loves to just talk down to everybody. So
I love to be talked down to by Hollywood.
Me too. And I think this is that type of movie that's gonna get like mixed reviews, but I definitely think it's gonna be in the Oscar class for
critics. Take a joke every now and then.
Right.
Like, you take yourself so seriously.
You don't need to make a big... I understand how it's like, okay, yeah, rich Hollywood people, like, thanks so much for your take. We all are aware that everything is fucked up. But they gave us a chuckle.
Well, and also if they're not going to make it, we're not going to see it. Because any regular Joe that wants to make this, who could maybe speak to, like, the regular person's point of view, no one's going to see that movie.
Yeah.
So...
And maybe... Just maybe some old fuck who really likes Leonardo DiCaprio or Meryl Streep who thinks that climate change isn't real might get the fucking hint and might get the satire behind this. The likelihood of that? Probably not.
They're probably looking at the Don't Look Up people and we're like, yeah.
Maybe. I don't know. I don't know. But it is very interesting that this was formulated before the pandemic and it played out very similar to how the pandemic played out with the media involvement in all of it and how we look to scientists for questions and try to get answers from them and then discredit them based on things and pick and choose what we want to know, and like making pills easier to swallow, like bad news making it easier to swallow. It's like there's no easy way to swallow the fact that millions of people are going to die because of a global virus. It's very interesting the way that this film had the groups of people splitting up and being like, there is no common.
It was good. I'm excited to jump in.
Let's jump the fuck in.
Standout star?
We know.
I mean,
No, you go, you babe.
Can I just, y'all know, Jennifer Lawrence is my bitch, and I love her so much, and the joy of seeing her in a movie again, in like a new movie, it did something for me. It really touched me on a spiritual level, because I love her, and I'm so happy to see her back, and I think I hate so much that she felt like she had to step away, because she thought everyone was like sick of her and hated her, and just like how so many women have to do that. Like Taylor Swift did that for many years. Every single female star goes through that like gauntlet of being like super popular, super beloved, to being like absolutely hated, going into hiding, coming back out. No men have to do that, but like women have to do that constantly. I hate that for her, that she had to like take that time away and that she felt like she needed to because everyone hated her. But I'm so glad that she's back and in another movie, and I hope to see, after she has her baby, more movies to come from her.
This film was exactly what I wanted to see her in. This role was perfect because it had that touch of like funniness. She got to be hilarious and kind of like unfiltered in a way, but also like serious, and this like revolutionary person that we loved in the Hunger Games, you know?
And we haven't gotten to really see her in like comedy.
Right. Hair botched.
Like, she still looked great, but that
Obviously.
hair, because like obviously she can pull off that hair, but that hair,
it's bad.
Who decided that was gonna be her look?
I think it was good because it's like they were so quick to discredit her and to like have her not be the face of this like scientific campaign, even though she discovered the comet. Because of how she looked, and they were trying to dress her up and all this stuff, and like she wasn't about it, and she quickly like lost her voice because of that, which I appreciated that being depicted.
And very quickly like the woman being painted as being like hysterical.
Yep.
But Leonardo DiCaprio being painted as like logical.
And the sexy scientist.
Yeah.
And then he's like used by the media to be like, the comet will create jobs.
Yeah. You know what, too, I found so funny was when I found out that those two guys were his sons. I was like, those look older than his girlfriends. Do they not?
You're right.
And they were playing his children.
You're right, though. And
no shade, no tea, but
I would just like to say that I'm so happy that there was not a romantic thing between Jennifer Lawrence and Leo DiCaprio. I kind of never got the vibe that there was going to be that, but like even from previews and trailers and stuff. But I'm so happy. And the age gap between Timothée Chalamet and Jennifer Lawrence isn't huge, but it was refreshing to see her being the elder one in her romantic like counterpart.
Because it's so often like an older man and a younger woman.
Yeah, and especially with her too, like she is so often playing against like a male actor who is a lot older than her. We've talked about before. It's just because she's so talented. Yeah. That kind of is just the way it goes. And I think even it might have been our Malcolm and Marie episode where we were talking about age disparity and how like really talented actresses are often paired with like older actors because they just match like the level of each other, whereas there's no male actor in the industry who would like match Jennifer Lawrence's caliber or Zendaya's caliber. And I think we said Timothée Chalamet might be the only one, which I agree. But I just feel weird about his involvement in this film. Like his character, I just don't know.
Yeah. I'd say he was like standout, but kind of in the wrong way.
I loved their interactions together, but it was like he came in so late in the film.
Yeah.
I would have liked us to see a little bit of him earlier. Yeah.
Yeah. Even like if it would have been that that little grocery store moment or whatever earlier, and then later they reconnect, like, and then he's gone for a bit, but then later they reconnect. Yeah. Even if it just would have been maybe within like the first hour or so that we got like briefly introduced to him.
Right.
That would have been better.
Yeah.
I liked that he ended up, spending the dinner with them.
Yes.
That was cute. Yeah.
I
we'll
love
talk about that. Yeah.
Another standout I'm gonna say is Jonah Hill.
I fucking love Jonah Hill. I don't feel like I've ever gotten the opportunity on here to say that, but I love Jonah Hill, everyone. I'm a big fan of his, and I don't think that we've ever really talked about a movie that he's been in, but
really, we haven't.
He was so good. He just, everything he's in, he just warms my heart. Ever since Superbad, he
was fantastic. I loved the beef between him and Jennifer Lawrence's character. And
him with the purses.
Yeah. When he was like, he's like, my Molly just hit. I timed that perfect. Just everything he fucking said was.
Who the fuck are you? I'm the Secretary of State. Or whatever, or the Chief of Staff, whatever he was. And I'm like, is that a call out to the Trump administration and just giving his fucking unqualified children jobs in the White House because he can?
Yeah, when Jennifer Lawrence is like, is that your mom? And then he's like, Mom. We're not doing it justice, but it's so good. One more thing, sorry to jump around, but one more thing back to Jennifer Lawrence. She got paid $5 million less than Leo to do this film. Thoughts?
I'm torn because I feel like there's a lot, obviously, that goes into, like, deciding salary for people, like, who's first on the call sheet, and also, like...
She was first on the call sheet.
She was first on the call
sheet.
Over him?
Yes.
That doesn't really make any sense. When his character, I feel like, was in it more.
I feel like her character was in it more.
Really? Okay. Jennifer Lawrence has historically been paid less than male co-stars and things, except for Passengers. She got paid more than Chris Pratt, as she fucking should. With it being her and Leonardo DiCaprio, like, again, he has been around the business for years and years and years, and he just has a ton of notoriety. So I almost, not that I'm saying that that's, like, fair, but it's, like, he is, like, another huge, huge name that at least it's not, like, if Timothée Chalamet would have made more than her, I would have been like, what the fuck? But I don't know why then if she's number one on the call sheet, why she wasn't paid more, and since they were like co-stars, why they didn't give them the same amount. And like, why wouldn't Leonardo, like, dude, come on. Why wouldn't you step up and be like, why is she not getting as much as I am?
Yeah, so when she was asked about it, she said that Leo brings in more box office than she does. But that is very questionable, and I think she's being kind about that. Yeah, and like, women are put in this uncomfortable position. She shouldn't be the one being asked, well, how do you feel about being paid less? The director and the people making these, the producers and Leo should be the ones being asked, how do you feel about that? And why did you make that decision? What was the thought process going into that?
I would like to know the reasoning behind that, because at least it's not a huge amount. Like, I remember in American Hustle, that was like a very, very significant amount of money that she was making less than her male co-stars. But still, $5 million is $5 million. Right. And it's more of like the message of it, of being like, why can't you pay both of them equal? They're both Oscar winners. They're both Academy stars.
And like, Leo's been in some of the biggest, like, highest grossing films of all time, but so has she. She is like the lead in a mega franchise. There really is no...
Except that maybe Leo's been around for longer. So it's like, okay, if that's what you want to bill it as, I guess, but...
Yeah, it doesn't sit well with me. That's for damn sure. But I think her response to it was like, this is an issue, but for me, I don't care that much about it. And I think she was being very modest about it, but I don't think that she should have been the one to be asked and put in that position to speak on it.
I don't know why she was asked. And maybe, she was trying to play nice because, again, like, this is her first movie back in Hollywood in a while, so maybe she doesn't want to, like, make waves right off the bat. That's kind of bullshit. I mean, I would never go see a movie because Leonardo DiCaprio's in it. And I know I'm just one person, but, like, come on.
Yeah, well, she's definitely going to be a huge draw for our generation.
Yeah.
So... She's the main reason why I wanted to see this movie.
Exactly. If she was not in it, I probably wouldn't have cared. Like, even with the other people, it would have been something that would have caught my eye and been like, oh, that might be something to watch out for. But if she wouldn't have been in it, I wouldn't have gone out of my way to watch it.
I'm not trying to like shit on Leo at all. I do think that their dynamic was really good. Mm-hmm. I loved this pairing, and I loved Leo's character and how he respected Jennifer's character and how he was like, she discovered it. He did get kind of roped into things, but he's like this anxious, manipulatable man. Yeah.
Even like when he was making bad choices, I still found him likable and endearing because he was just kind of like, he's this nerdy, anxious scientist kind of dude. He's not like fame seeker. It was more like this came upon him and he was like a regular person who didn't know how to respond and kind of got swept up in it. I mean, I think that's something that a lot of people would have a similar experience with. Like, you can say you want to be famous or want to be a star all you want, but then when you actually get roped up into things, like, it looks a lot different than you thought it would.
Yeah, and it's believable too that this character would kind of make questionable decisions under this type of pressure and under this type of like influence, and when you have the president and the media all manipulating you and trying to use you in ways. I just thought that this character was really interesting to follow through all of that, and Leo played it very well.
Random thought that I just popped into my head. You know what I loved? That reoccurring thing of how that one dude charged them for the snacks, and like that came up over and over again.
That was a standout thing for me.
That would be something that would bug the shit out of me too, though. I would be like, why did this person do that? I would never let that go.
That was fucking hilarious. And that, like, there were so many little things like that that made this movie just genuinely funny. Like, satire aside, like, that's not satire. That's just fucking hilarious. And that's Jennifer Lawrence just being hilarious. And Adam McKay, too, I felt like had a lot of influence in that. But, like, how every time it's like this existential moment, she's just like, she has discovered this comet that's going to end life on Earth. And she is hung up on the fact that he charged us for the snacks. Like, why would he do that? And it's never explained. And it's just perfect. No. It's so perfect.
Oh, it's hilarious. But that's something that I feel like regular person, though, would get pressed about.
Yeah.
Of being like, why would this rich guy charge me money?
Yeah.
Like, no one would get that.
Yeah.
I thought it was...
She's just like, the snacks are free. And then how the head of planetary defense guy was like, he farted right by me and he didn't even say excuse me. And that guy like never comes back into it either. No. He just like had that little moment, but he made an impact.
Yeah. Honestly, talking about this makes me want to like watch this again tonight, because I feel like I'm going to pick up on more things again on the rewatch. Like, it'll be a good one to rewatch, so you'll get something new out of it.
Oh yeah, and it was a long one, which we have discrepancies about.
It was long, but I didn't feel like it was long.
Yeah,
it didn't feel long to me.
It definitely is not like some of the other films we've seen this year where it's been like unbearable.
I'm sorry, I forgot to include in my check-in real quick. I saw Spider-Man No Way Home on Christmas Day. Another long movie. I did have to go out to the bathroom and I missed a kind of a big moment, but it was okay. But that was so good.
Yeah.
It was amazing for it being like a Marvel movie, which normally like they're kind of like hit or miss for me. Genuinely so good.
Okay.
Yeah.
Noted. I don't know. I just have a hard time with superheroes and action. It's just not my thing. My girlfriend is obsessed with Andrew Garfield, and she made me watch The Amazing Spider-Man the other day. It is what it is. I don't know. It's a dude running around.
Yeah.
That's the only Spider-Man movie I've seen. I've seen a bunch of TikToks about it now. I don't know why. It's all over my fucking For You page. It's like, this is not for me.
Yeah.
Because I don't give a fuck about Spider-Man.
I haven't seen any of the old ones, but I have seen all the ones with Tom Holland and Zendaya, and I do like those. I don't think I'd ever maybe after watching this one, I would go back and watch the old ones, but only probably if someone else was like, hey, I really want to watch these, then I'd be like, okay, cool.
I don't know. It was great to drive by the movie theater and see it packed the weekend that it came out, because I haven't seen it that packed since the pandemic started, really, and so it made my heart feel good to drive by the theater and see all the parking spots filled. So
yeah, it was busy on Christmas Day.
Yeah, and nothing against people who like Marvel. I know that it's a really good story and really exciting for a lot of people. I just can't get into it.
And I feel like, aren't you people burned out? Like, there's 5 of those a year. I don't get that. And that's the thing, like, they'll always go back, like, Marvel, Star Wars, like, I don't know why they're compared, because they're very different things, but I'm like, at least the thing that Star Wars, I think, does well is that it creates excitement and, like, tension because there's only one every few years. And even now, I bet there's going to be like a bit of a gap in between Rise of Skywalker and any new Star Wars movie. Mm-hmm. Where Marvel movies, it's like every other fucking day there's a new one coming out.
And I thought it was over when everyone, I don't know. I can't keep up with it. Anyways.
It's so much. Yeah, I meant to bring that up because that was like a movie related thing that I'm like, I can finally bring up in my check-in, and I just forgot. Yeah. So. Standout star was Jennifer Lawrence, standout scene.
Okay, my standout scene, I mean, there's so many, but the one that I have written down is the moment when the people at the bar overhear them talking about the comet after, I'm just going to call him Jeff Bezos because I don't remember Bash, whatever the fuck, weird ass. I hated him.
Yeah.
Least favorite part, his voice made me want to fucking die.
I felt like he was a cross between Steve Jobs and Jeff Bezos. Yeah. And like Elon Musk. Just grind them all up into one.
After he like turned the mission around and made his little spiel about the fucking like trying to dismantle the comet because of all the money that's on it, whatever. And how Jennifer Lawrence then kind of told all the people at the bar what was really happening, and the riot that ensued after that, the justifiable riot, and how she had a bag on her head again.
And then Jonah Hill was like, they don't do that. The CIA does that. The FBI doesn't do that. Yeah. I did that.
I made them do that. But yeah, I don't know. I really liked that scene because it spoke very closely to home, and it wasn't that funny. It was more just like, damn, yeah, rich people being more disgustingly rich.
Mm-hmm. I liked the first meeting with the president. I thought that was very funny, and how we're seeing like all these little details about Meryl Streep. Like, you gather so much from who she is as a president very, very quickly in that scene, and like how she's going to handle this situation, and how she literally has the head of the NSA there, of NASA there, NASA there, and she's like, we'll get our people on it, and that's like literally her person. She's a fucking dumbass. Mm-hmm. And like the pictures with celebrities on her desk, like just random shit like that. And again, I thought that Jonah Hill and Jennifer Lawrence in that scene were so good together. Mm-hmm. That I loved that scene. And I loved the dinner scene at the end. I love that like they all were able to come together. I love that Leo was able to reunite with his wife and his two sons and spend their final moments together. And I like that Jennifer Lawrence went with, because you could really tell like the bond that she had with him and like their true friendship. Timmy was kind of odd there, but I mean, glad he was there. Mm-hmm. And I liked the final moment, the final line of the movie of like, we really did have it all.
Yeah.
Because I think so often, especially like Katie and I can get very much like, everything sucks, this is garbage, like life is dumb. But truly there are so many things that we do have to be grateful for. And like that we have it sometimes bad, but we don't have it as bad as it could be. So
right. And I think collectively as a human race, we really do have it all. Like that moment when Leonardo DiCaprio is like, oh, the materials on the comet could end world hunger. It's like, no, we as a species have the capacity to end world hunger. Mm-hmm. We just choose not to, because again, the people who have the power to do so refuse to, and just are focused on, for whatever fucking reason, becoming more disgustingly rich. Mm-hmm. And we have the capacity, not for much longer, but to do something about climate change.
Yeah.
And to do something about the mass extinction that we're going through with all the different species that we're losing on the planet. And it's not likely that we're going to ever like reach our potential of being able to do something about that, because of how society has progressed to the point that it has, where the powers at play really, they don't have the interest of the rest of us in mind. But yeah, no, I agree with you. Like, we are, as individuals, very lucky, because people have it a lot worse.
Like, again, the people who actually can do something about climate change choose not to, but then companies do things like, oh, we're doing paper straws.
Yeah.
We're saving and like, that's what you can do to save the world. And it's like, that is so minute in the large scheme of things. But yet you're making people feel bad if they use a plastic straw.
Yeah.
Thinking that they're solely responsible for our world going to shit when that plastic straw has literally nothing to do in the big picture of things.
Yeah.
Like, what the fuck? Also at the end, when the world started imploding. The only thing that I didn't feel a single bad thing for any of the people. I genuinely only felt bad for the animals, because I always feel bad for the animals, because they truly don't do anything. Like, animals can exist perfectly fine without us, and I feel like they should be allowed to. Like, a mass human extinction would not affect like, they would just get to continue to vibe, and like, they only suffer our consequences, which makes me really sad.
Yeah. But it's also kind of interesting to think, like, they don't know.
No, they don't know
doom that's coming, and they don't have, you know, the technology to understand. And like, the comet isn't a human.
It would be like a dinosaur thing.
Yeah, like, it wouldn't have been a human caused event like climate change. The devastation that results from climate change would be. But we did have the capacity to do something about it in this film, and we didn't, because again, powers at play. But I think it's also interesting that, like, it is these big corporations and millionaire type people who cause the issues, not in this case, but with climate change, like Amazon and Walmart and all these other big corporations are causing the climate crisis and profiting off of it, and can do something about it but don't, and then will have the ability to survive it the longest. And the people who have less to do with it, like I said about Africa, are going to be experiencing the brunt of it first, and dying first, and suffering first. And even people like us, you know, who contribute more because we buy more, and like, you know, just because of how we have to live our lives, we contribute more, and we'll also experience it later, if that makes sense. I don't know what I'm trying to say, but literally. And when Leonardo DiCaprio was like, how has it come to this? Like, we can't even communicate with each other, and we can see this comet in the sky, but there's still a debate over it. We have the capacity to do something about this, but we're playing games about money that's not even gonna fucking matter in a couple months. What has happened to us? And it's like, maybe we should just fucking go extinct.
Yeah.
Because I think that all the time. It's like, what has happened to us? We have like everything, but there are people who are starving and suffering, and it doesn't have to be this way, but...
Or like with the pandemic, there's a literal answer with like a vaccine that's not working because people aren't getting it, and people like are still just going out and getting sick. It mutates itself, and it's like, okay, you know that, but then like vaccinated people by far do not get as deathly ill by it as unvaccinated people. So I'm like, literally, there could be an end to this. There could be a literal end to this, and yet it's not, because we're like sitting around debating, being little bitches about it. Yeah. And it's not like this comet was not a political issue, but it was very quickly turned into a political issue with this, which I thought was interesting, because I think that's the same exact way with this pandemic. Like, the coronavirus should not have been like a political issue, but yet it turned into that. Like, it doesn't exist without the other. There were a lot of parallels.
Yeah, it's a thinker, that's for sure. On a more lighthearted note, I loved Ariana Grande in this, obviously, because I'm a huge fan. But I appreciate somebody who is able to make fun of themselves, especially a huge pop star like her, where, you know, she could have this big head and be like, oh, I don't want to be represented that way. But her role in particular, like, she's basically playing herself, whereas all these other like big name celebrities really aren't. They're playing characters, but she is basically playing herself and making fun of herself, and the satire in her role is directed at her and people like her. So bravo! That's all I gotta say. And she killed it with just look up, get your head out of your ass.
And I love that they had like a concert, because that's what we do. We have concerts for things. So I did really like that. I thought that she seemed like a little out of place in this for me. I think because she's like playing herself, so it just felt weird to see that like inserted in this narrative with all these other people like playing characters. It felt like odd to me to watch, but I did like when they were sitting down before that one show and they were like kind of vibing back and forth, and then Leo said like, so sorry about your breakup, and she was like, fuck you.
Yeah, like, shut up, you old fuck.
Like, I did I did like that. That was kind of funny. But I did just find it ironic because it's like, why is the world's response to have a concert when something's happening?
But it truly is, and I think it's so on brand with the theme of this film. It's like, we are incapable of like sitting with information now in this age of technology. We have to like convolute it with humor. Even like our generation, who is very aware of like the high probability that we will witness like the end times. We still kind of like laugh about it, and it's like a joke, and we make it funny. The pill itself is incredibly hard to swallow if you really think too hard about it. The whole fact that they do have a concert, and like, I'm sure it would happen.
People need to feel like they're doing something about it, you know? And I feel like then with doing a concert, it's like, oh, people feel like if they either view the concert or Ariana Grande playing at the concert, like they feel like they're contributing.
Yeah, it's kind of like the Imagine thing that all the celebrities did at the beginning of the pandemic.
Oh, yikes. That was a big fucking yikes. All so stupid. Oh, sometimes when I feel bad about myself, I just think about that. It's like, you could always do worse.
I have a question to kind of break this up. Is how would you respond?
I wanted to talk about this. Okay, so
Is
6
now
months.
a good time?
Yes, 6 months from now. We're known today. A comet coming towards Earth, going to kill us. We have 6 months. What do we do? The immediate thing I would do is probably cry, knowing that my kitties are in harm's way, because we all know this. They are my heart, soul, pride, joy. They are everything to me. So I would be sad for them. I would not be sad for me. I genuinely wouldn't. I think I'd start just like blowing my money. I would cash out my 401k. For sure. I don't have that much in it, but I definitely would. And I think I would just start traveling. But also I wouldn't want to leave the kitties. So maybe I'd do like a couple of weeks somewhere, but then I think I'd just try to spend a lot of time with the kitties, because truly that is where I'm happiest. And I get like very anxious when I'm away from them. So that might sound dumb to be like, I would just stay in one place, but they make me the happiest.
I think a lot depends on, does everyone know about this? Do just we know about this? Like, what are the parameters here, you know? If the entire world, again, I do feel like this is very realistic to how things would play out. I think people would, I am convinced that if this were to happen, people would be working up until the comet hit.
Yeah, I would quit.
Politicians and corporate owners and stuff would fuel propaganda that convinces people to continue working, just like they have during the pandemic, and probably will when the climate crisis gets out of control.
I would quit, or I would either keep my job because I work from home and then just really not do anything. Yeah. But continue to cash that check.
I think, I don't know what I would do. I think I would just kind of like vibe it out and have as much fun as I can. Like, can I go get McDonald's, you know? Like, am I able to eat whatever I want? Am I able to like go and exchange money for goods anymore? Because like, is anybody working? Does money matter anymore? Like, what's going on in the world? Like in the film, Leo is grocery shopping hours before the comet hits, and there's a news anchor hanging out in the studio like up until it hits, and I know for a fact I would not be sober when the comet hits.
Yeah. I think you're right though. I would just really do whatever I wanted. Truly, like, eat whatever I wanted, go out to dinner as much as I wanted, drink as much as I wanted. I wouldn't spend a day working out. Because what's the fucking point? Right. Like that whole diet app thing that you could, like, congratulations, your diet's over, but yeah, the fucking world ended. So like you ended up being miserable eating celery. Like I'm gonna end it eating cookie dough. Right. So I think I'd spend it a lot of time with like any friends and family.
I'd throw a rager.
Yeah. I think honestly my life would look like pretty similar to right now, except I would just have a lot like looser restrictions on myself. Where like I don't really go out to eat because I don't want to spend the money, and like I'm constantly thinking about money, and like if that's not a concept anymore, it doesn't matter.
I 100% agree. I think it's more just like living in the moment, and that's probably how we should live anyways, but that's not the fucking case, because again, we're just on this earth to make rich people more disgustingly rich. Apparently it's fucking trash. And now I'm a door dasher.
Now I'm a door dasher
because of my crippling financial situation.
I should have had you door dash me Starbucks here. I would have paid you So you can bring me a chai latte.
Well, if you submit an order, I could accept it.
Really?
How does that work? I don't know.
I've never DoorDashed before because again, I'm always like, I don't want to spend the money for that. And
Yeah.
like, I don't really need to go out to eat. So then I don't. But if there was a comment crashing, I'd be like, fuck it.
Yeah. Somebody ordered 3 chicken tacos from Taco Bell. Sorry, is that like a privacy issue?
We didn't say their name. We don't know.
But they ordered chicken tacos from Taco Bell and they're literally like on Main Street. Like they lived on Main Street where Taco Bell is. And I was like, babe, just get in the car and drive.
I would always order from delivery from Jimmy John's in college and they lived the next block over. It was a block away.
Jimmy John's delivery is really cheap though.
Yeah, and it was freaky fast.
I'm not spons. Oh my god.
No, but I ordered Jimmy John's last week. That Jimmy John's took like an hour and a half to get here. But I felt bad because I'm pretty sure they had like no people working. Oh,
for sure.
So
yeah.
I wasn't a bitch about it. I didn't even call her or anything. I was just like, I guess it'll be here when it gets here. I mean, honestly, like I just don't really even feel like talking about this anymore. But just briefly, I feel like it should be stated that it's pretty obvious when you're watching this how quickly the woman gets painted to be super hysterical and the crazy, unreliable one, and how quickly like the man becomes the credible one, all because Jennifer Lawrence was frustrated about no one listening to her. So then, yes, she did have like an emotional outburst, but that's the only way that women like get noticed. Otherwise, we're not listened to or not taken seriously. So I feel like that was like portrayed pretty well of that happening because that's like a real world thing. Like we don't need like that's obvious. That's a fact. Like we don't need to get into that like there's no debate that women aren't taken as seriously as men. So
another standout real quick, I just wanted to say that Cate Blanchett's dress in the divorce scene where Leo's wife came and was
at the
like,
hotel room.
Yeah. Her dress was phenomenal.
Yeah.
And I need it.
Yeah.
Not a want, but a need.
Yeah.
That was such a serve. I didn't like her in that moment. I felt really bad for Leo's wife. I thought she was this sweet little lady. And when she was throwing his pills at him, that was a serve too, bitch. Both the women in that scene were serving. Cate Blanchett just sitting in the corner being like, wow. Like, I loved that.
I did kind of love her being like, let's skip all this chit-chat.
Because the world's fucking ending.
Yeah,
like,
I loved that. And then I liked at the end how she was like, I just want to talk about people. Or,
yeah,
like,
I just want to talk shit about people and get drunk.
It's like, that's a mood.
Yes. That'd be you and I. Let's just fucking be bitches till the end.
And how can we forget the credits scene of them going to the new planet?
Yikes.
Because if that isn't real, then I don't know what all these fucking billionaires going to space right now. Like they're literally scouting that out.
A lot of them were like old people too, and I was like, what the fuck?
How are you planning on repopulating?
Yeah.
Because they are all crusty.
Yeah.
So yeah, I don't know. And then I also love that Meryl Streep got eaten by
I know, and I liked her ass tat. Her fucking tramp stamp. I was like, Jesus.
God.
That was definitely a double. That wasn't actually Meryl.
I feel like she's at that level. She can be like literally now.
There's no fucking way.
Yeah, and then I hope that they all got eaten by those creatures. I hope they all got pecked off.
Me too.
But yeah, I'm like, I don't know how you're planning on doing that, but that was also kind of reminiscent of like Passengers. To like people going into that hibernation thing to then go to a new world, except those people were actually like reproducing age.
Yeah.
Where these people, I'm like, I don't know what you're doing. You're just basically having a retirement home on another planet.
Right, yeah. And I don't know, honestly, if like this is nominated for Best Picture, I can see that scene being the difference between it winning Best Picture and not.
You think it would cause it not to win Best Picture? Because it was
hokey.
It was, yeah.
I mean, there might be other factors that go into it, but it definitely made it seem a little bit more like old Adam McKay and not this new era of Adam McKay.
Yeah. No, I do agree. It didn't fit quite with the rest of the movie, but I did like seeing that those people got their shit rocked.
The quote at the beginning of the film that was like, I want to die like my father, peacefully in his sleep, not screaming for my life like his passengers.
I feel like that used to be like a Twitter meme.
I don't know, but this genuinely is my biggest fear of like dying and why I can't think too hard about the climate crisis or other existential things because I don't want to know that I'm going to die.
Yeah, I agree.
And the people that I love dying too at the same time, dealing with that all at once. I don't want to do that.
That would be the worst thing, is then knowing that like your parents are dying too.
Yep. and my sister and all my friends and the world and Josie.
It's really the pets for
the
me.
animals.
It's the
like,
pets
it's not
for
their
me.
fucking fault. And they're going to be
know.
joyful and like cute up until the end too because they don't
it.
know.
I think I would maybe give them like Benadryl or something because I just want them to be like peaceful and not panicked. I literally can't even think about that too hard because that literally makes me like almost have a panic attack just thinking about something happening to them.
Yeah.
I am so unwell. I need to go to therapy for that because it is getting to be bad. I freak out about them all the time. So
this episode is sponsored by BetterHelp.
But like genuinely I do. Even on Christmas, like I was away from them on Christmas Eve, but then I came back at night and then Christmas Day. But all I could think about when I was gone was like, are they okay?
Yeah.
But I agree. I don't want to know when I die. I think dying in my sleep would be fucking ideal.
Yeah, agreed. I saw this TikTok the other night that was like things we're going to most likely experience in our lifetime. And the first one was like the death of Queen Elizabeth. And I was like, most likely, like she better I better fucking experience that in my lifetime. If that bitch outlives me, I'm gonna have some issues. What the fuck?
Oh my god.
But then it was like wars over water. And I was like, oh, cute. Can't wait for that because I would not last 2 seconds in that war. I drink water every 2 seconds.
Oh, wars over like water.
Like
not like,
drinking
I
water.
was thinking like over the seas. And I was like, what the fuck?
Like drinking water.
Oh yeah. Yikes.
I was like, fucking trash.
I don't want to think about all that.
Yeah, let's not.
I'd rather be ignorant on something.
Just look up. Get your head out of your ass. I did really like when Jen and Timmy made out, though. I was living for that.
I know. And when she was like on his lap.
Mm-hmm.
Hot. And such an unexpected pairing.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
Also, just Jennifer continues ticking off the box of working with some of the top men. Working with Leo, working with Bradley Cooper, working with, what the fuck is his name? David O. Russell. Why the fuck couldn't I think of his name for a second? She's worked with so many huge men in the industry. So just like, check off Leo.
It's funny that she ended up
Mahershala Ali.
But I like how she was with my dude first, and we're still holding out for her moment with Adam Driver. I would not be shocked if it happens.
It needs
It'd be
to
good.
happen. It needs to
also,
happen.
that picture of Harry Styles and Florence.
Oh, from the movie? What is it?
Where they're like
Don't
working
Worry,
out. Yeah, don't
hot. Is your bi panic?
Like, I have no words for that. Her new haircut is really...
She got her haircut?
Yeah.
What'd she do?
It's like really short.
Like a pixie?
Yeah.
Stop it.
She looks like she's playing Peter Pan. I can't say I love. That's just not really my type. We know this.
She's playing Peter Pan. Oh no. Also, what is she doing dating that dude? I mean, like, she still looks great, but I just don't love that.
She looks like a bicon.
Yeah.
But not. Well, maybe. I don't know.
Oh, I don't. Oh, I don't. I don't love.
That's what I'm fucking saying, bitch. It's her life.
I mean, yeah.
Your body, your choice.
Yeah. Just like when Jennifer Lawrence cut her hair. Like, I didn't love that, but also I loved that she loved it. Mm-hmm. So...
live your truth.
Yes. It is what it is. I don't think I have anything else to say. I will say, though, that out of the new releases of this year, this is up there with some of my favorites.
Same.
And I definitely do want to rewatch it now, especially after, like, talking it through with you. That it will be one, like, we've watched some where it's like I wouldn't probably ever watch them again, but, like, I enjoyed them. But this is one that I would actually rewatch down the line. That's kind of getting more rare for me these days. I feel like finding ones that I want to rewatch over and over again.
Like, this is the biggest star-studded cast that we've seen in a while.
Mm-hmm.
And it holds up better than ones that I've seen recently.
Mm-hmm.
The ones coming to mind are like Ocean's 8, and I just did not think that that was as good as it was built up to be.
Yeah.
This was great. And star-studded cast that didn't flop.
Yeah. I enjoy.
Because sometimes they're like, we don't have to try very hard with this because people are going to show up to see this movie no matter what because we're releasing it on Christmas Day on Netflix. Mm-hmm. And it has all these big, huge stars in it. So who really cares that much? But I thought it was very good and enjoyable. Mm-hmm. And if you haven't seen, go see it. We just spoiled it, but...
if you haven't seen, then I don't know why you listen.
Yeah.
But thanks.
Thank you. We like and we'll see you next year.
Yeah.
Because
we'll start our Euphoria coverage the second week in January.
Yep. So, see you then.
Stay tuned.
Stay tuned. Have a good New Year's. Stay safe. don't get Omicron. Get
Get
vaccinated if you're not. Lilas.